where did you start training, and what age are you?
I started training back in the day with Brigadier, but I started training Jiu Jitsu because I wanted to do MMA. You know, that was my thing. I was training kickboxing a lot, and then one day a guy showed up. We did a lot of sparring. He was like, "Hey man, want to do one round of MMA?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do that." And then he got me the triangle. I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta learn that thing." You know, I didn't like Jiu Jitsu that much because I was like, "No, it's too close. I don't want to be that close with all the guys." You know, but I loved it. So I forgot about kickboxing like 3 months later, and that was it.
And what age are you when you started?
I was 15. Yeah.
15 when you started dedicating to Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah. No, I didn't start dedicating myself right away. I started because I was doing school and everything, high school back in the day. But I was training. I was training regularly every day. I loved it, and the more I trained, the more I loved. So yeah.
I put this question like later, but like I want to ask now because I have this question. Like I always ask people, like, what do you feel is the difference between fighting in the black belt and fighting in the other belts? So what do you like if somebody like a blue belt comes to you and say, oh, like, what's the difference between fighting in the blue, purple, and brown, and fighting in the black belt? What for you, like when you got your black belt, you start fighting and you were like, wow, like this is different or felt the same? Like, what do you think?
Since I'm a heavy guy, the biggest thing was fighting the open weight before before my division was it is kind of hard because you're losing weight, you there. So as soon as you fight the first time, you used to now, okay, whatever I can eat. I do my first one, I struggle with this one, but I know I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna recover, and now I'm ready for the tournament. In a black belt level, you fight the open weight before, so you're still cutting weight while you compete, and then you put that on your schedule. You know that you're gonna lose 3 or 4 pounds just by doing the open weight. If you win, of course, if you win your matches, you're gonna have like 40 minutes of workout. So you basically put that on your schedule. Because at first I would make weight, fight the open weight, and now I'm 4 pounds under, you know. And now I make weight. Oh my God, I'm under. I'm suffering for no reason, you know. So you learn how to adjust yourself to fight open weight before. That's one thing about myself, my body. But fighting at black belt level is harder because you fight longer. And a lot of guys, they're gonna let you fight first. I mean, especially the experienced people. They're gonna let you fight, they let you do not let you do whatever, but you're gonna be putting your stuff in there and they're just feeling you. And now you're you're getting confident. Oh my God, this guy's not gonna do anything. And then 7-minute mark, they start fighting. And then they beat you and you, oh my God, what happened? I messed up. But it's not, it's just the strategy gap. But because me, I don't know you guys, I think you guys had that. You had other black belts competing around you to, you know, learn and absorb that energy and that thing before.
I think that's what happened. Like for us, like we had black belts. Like Bruno was already a black belt. Like Doreen was already a black belt. So we kind of felt the level before we are in the division. So we knew what to expect when we went there. And I think for me, like when I start to think, it was more the mental pressure of like fighting the guy that it's already 2 times, 3 times world champion, and the guy, and dealing with the experience of like the person like saving a lot of energy and like waiting for you to get tired and then they start increasing. Yeah. So
I didn't like, since I come from a small team, it was hard for me to understand that, you know, because I didn't have people to ask these guys questions. Of course, I had an idea. I had other people that I always have a good relationship with everybody, but at the same time, you're not there training with them every day. You know, I had DJ, you know, but it was kind of tricky for me when I step in there to, oh my God, you know, oh, that's different.
Yeah, you know? It's harder being a heavy guy too. Like especially like as big as you are, because then you don't find as many training partners your size.
Realistic training partners, yeah.
So like you have to control yourself. Like I was watching you training, and like you do a really good job like with that, like controlling yourself in training. Like I trained with Buchecha before, and he does the same thing. Because like if you go there like trying to make it a war, people are gonna avoid you in training.
We had that conversation now. That's my thing. I can learn a lot from people, like, I think lighter people are better. Period. A lot of heavy guys are gonna be mad at me and they say, "Nah, man, we good too." We are good, but we don't move as good. We're not as flexible, as fast as we, and also we cannot go hard all the time because we get hurt easily. You know, easier than a lighter guy who is more flexible, who got more angles to move. So for us, it's good to learn and absorb from lighter guys everything, the grips and everything, because they have to create more leverage to do everything they do. You know, so I love that kind of approach where I train with guys, like I train with Jonathan, I was looking at every angle he tries to create, and Jamil does the same thing, all light guys. I learned a lot. A lot of people say, "No, man, you don't have enough training." No, that's
I think that's where people like it's very tricky because I was watching, like I have experience, like I trained for a long time. I have seen a lot of people, and then I think that's when you see how confident the person is, because the guy that is there trying to prove that he can beat everybody, like you could be there just like trying to kill everyone, and then in my eyes it would look like lack of confidence, because like why he needs to prove himself so much. But like you're fighting with the guys and like trying to connect your moves, but like you were in a pace where it was like a training, you know. And I think that's when I'm watching, that's what I look for. Like I see like this guy is like is trying to train, you know. It's not just like, and when I trained with Buchecha, it was the same thing. Like it was like he knows how to connect like the moves, like he knows how to put himself in a situation where it's good training for both people, you know. Like, and what was really good, I think like this is a good quality. And I even saw like more of the lighter guys trying to go with you after that, because they saw the way you're training, and it's much better. It's better for the training. It's better for the professor that's teaching, because like he can like just like run a better class, can find more training partners for you. And like you said, you learn more, because like the lighter guys, they do connect more moves because they move more. So like the technical level is normally higher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I believe that people approach stuff wrong. As far as I'm heavy guy, I don't move well at all. I'm not flexible, but I also don't stretch. And the lighter guys, they're like, "Oh, I'm weak, so I don't train with bigger guys." But also, if I'm weak, I'm not gonna get any stronger. You know, I accept myself as I am. And Bruno was telling me the same thing. Like, man, if you're here today, you're supposed to be here next year. You're supposed to be there next year. So you look at weakness as a challenge for you to get better, and I think that's Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu is an opportunity for you to get better. If you're weak, get stronger. If you're stiff, get flexible.
Yeah.
You know, and of course we want to win, we want to do tournaments and everything, but that's a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I thought it's like, if you focus on getting good and improving, the tournaments are gonna be there and you're gonna win. The winning part is a consequence of what you do every day. But like you can't just think about the tournament every second of the day without focusing on yourself, because it's not gonna happen. People that win tournaments are the people that are like they're focusing on getting better and being the best guy in the class and doing the best techniques. Like these are the guys that win tournaments. Are the guys that are 100% like they're addicted to Jiu-Jitsu. They're addicted on getting better, and that's what makes like them like win tournaments, because they just work harder than everybody. They put more on the line than everybody, and exactly what you're saying. Like people that are just like, I'm too small, I'm not gonna train with that guy, or I'm too big. Like I'm gonna just sit here and watch, and then when I find someone my size, I train. Like if you find this kind of excuse, like then you just like put a limit on your training.
And also you blaming now your team, you blaming your class, and now you're gonna be eventually gonna become good if you're training for 5-6 years. So now you're going here and there to find the perfect scenario, which is never gonna happen. You know, if you're good, you need to adjust yourself, be able to learn from everybody, and put yourself in good situations. Like 230 pounds who trained Jiu-Jitsu for 10 years is gonna struggle to train good, you know, everywhere. And now if you don't, what you're gonna do? You're gonna cry. Like just learn how to move with smaller people. Let them grab you without breaking the grip. Try to find the angle, you know, to go against that, or even make the grip weaker just by moving a little bit your angle, changing your angle, you know, watching everything, paying attention. I think that's the best, you know, when you put yourself in a situation where everybody can learn together. You know?
Yeah, and I did a video that was talking about like the environment, like creating like a good environment where you feel you can grow. And a lot of times like being the best guy in the academy, like and even like you're able to beat everybody, it is still the environment is good for you, because a lot of people think like once like I'm the best guy in the academy, I submit everybody, it's time for me to look for a new place or something. I think you can always push yourself. Like me and my brother in 2014, we didn't have any training, any hard training. It was just me and him. And I remember we would line up all the students and we would go with everybody. So like there's many ways for you. If the environment is good, if like you have people, they are pushing you, want you to improve, like it doesn't matter if you're the worst guy in the academy or the best guy in the academy, you still can like win competitions, because the environment makes you feel more comfortable winning and makes you feel more confident. It's improving you every day.
Yeah, winning is a habit. You know, when you wake up early and when you're supposed to wake up is a habit. If you eat what you're supposed to be eating, you're winning. You're winning. I win when I wake up. I win when I eat good. I win when I do what is supposed to be done. So yeah, winning is a habit. You know.
And I have a question here that I saw this question somewhere, and I always like to think about it, because people always say like like I always go for the submission. But you're in the finals of Worlds in the black belt. You get an armbar from the bottom, but you're losing by 2 points. You put the guys back on the mat. You have 30 seconds on the clock. You try to finish the armbar, or you come on top for the sweep and score the 2 points. If you come on top and score 2 points, you're gonna win by 2 points, 100%. If you try the armbar, you might not be able to break the grip and you lose the match. But if you win, it's a submission.
It's a hard question, because now you 100% want to win a world title. It doesn't matter if you never won or if you like. I got one. I don't know how that feels to have 10. You know, but I think the people who have 10 is because they want to win so hard that they don't care about anything else. But at the same time, I like to think and feel about energy, you know. So if you feeling the guy's energy is gone, because usually on the fight there is a moment where they super confident, you know. I read a lot about tennis, you know, and tennis is all about momentum, you know. Volleyball too is all about momentum and everything. So sometimes when your momentum is here, their momentum is there, you can do basically whatever you want. But at the same time, if you make any little mistake, the momentum can flip upside down, you know. So I think I would keep my grip, get on top, get my points, and then go with the, you say 30 seconds, right? Yeah, so 30 seconds, I can spend 3 of the 30 getting my points, and then, because if now I got my points, if now they come on top, it's not gonna be 2 points for them, you know. So if you think about the rules and everything, you have time to do
so both. You would secure the victory first.
100%, yeah, 100%.
That's what I would do too.
100%.
I will try to finish, but first I would make sure I won that match.
I got my 3 points, my 2 points, and yeah, 100%.
And this is another question that a lot of people like. I think a lot of people struggle with, because every person, of course, is different. And every person have their different like goals in life and stuff. When is the right time to stop competing?
Stop competing?
Yeah. When you accomplish everything that you want, or when...
I don't know, I think when it's not fun anymore. Maybe if you're not having fun, you know, because it varies from person to person, as you said. But man, if they are, because you can see both. You can see people who stop doing and they still do great, like you guys. You stopped, but you still do great. People gonna talk about you forever. And I don't know, man. You also see people who are still competing and people still love them, you know. So I don't know. I didn't get there yet. You know, I didn't get there I don't even think about stopping. I don't know, man. When is the time to stop? Maybe if you're not having fun anymore. Maybe if the pressure is bigger than the joy to win. Because sometimes too, I remember that happened with me at brown belt. I was so stressed about being the best brown belt that when I won, wasn't that fun. You know, I didn't lose a lot, but it wasn't fun anymore to win. It was just what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I felt a lot like this during my whole career. I felt that I had this pressure. I think like the fact of like having a brother too, it like increases this pressure, because if you have someone that's like
they're gonna compare.
Yeah, they're gonna compare you every second of the day with that person, especially if the person does exactly the same thing that you do all day. And I always had this problem of like it's not fun, it's business. Like it would be fun if I didn't have anybody like looking at me and thinking like who is better, or like are you gonna win, or like a lot of people taking photos and or hoping that you lose, like.
And there is no other option. You win or win.
Yeah.
And now if you win, you won. And if you lose, oh my God, you know, so yeah, I see.
I think like that's like it's a hard balance, because a lot of people say like I like competing. Like I think everybody likes competing. Everybody likes winning. You understand? There's a huge difference. Like everybody hates losing. You understand? So it's pretty easy to say I love competing after you won. You understand? But then like when you lose, you're gonna be thinking like there's something wrong. Like you're always trying to blame yourself or blame something that happened. And that's really hard. So I always struggle with that. And then it's what you said. People always ask me like, why you guys don't compete? And then it's because of what you just said. Is like when you have a different goal, or
the pressure is bigger than.
Yeah, or like it's just like the joy of winning is not like the main thing for you anymore, because you have different goals. You have the desire to do something else more.
And also the way I see stuff is that you're still working hard, just as hard, or maybe even harder. You know, you're just not doing the same exact thing, which is competing, but you're competing something else.
Yeah.
You have your students now, and now you have like a whole lot of stuff. Like Michael Jordan now. Do you think he's chilling somewhere? No, it's a habit. It's a habit. To work hard is a habit. Yeah. So he's still there competing. Of course, I'm 100% sure now he's working somewhere, doing something.
And that's exactly, I tell people in seminars, because I get this question every seminar. And then I tell them the same competition drive that I had to win the gold medals, I have now towards something else. And that's how, like, when you're a competitor, like, you're not just a competitor when you step on the mat, you're a competitor with everything that you do. True. So like you see someone doing something that you also like to do, you're gonna want to do better than them. So like same thing, like we were talking here and you were like, like how you do the videos, I want to improve, like, I want to learn more of this, because like it's a competition, you know. For you want to have the best videos, you want to have the most followers or the most subscribers in your channel, because like it's how we are, like, right? Like, we are competitors in every aspect of life.
Yeah, I was behind the scenes here asking, how do you do those videos, man? Like, blah, blah, blah. Oh, is black t-shirts better than silky? What about lights and everything? So yeah, it's a habit. Everything you do, the way you approach, that's why I like to tell people, when you do jiu-jitsu, you show your personality. You know, the way you approach life is the same way you approach jiu-jitsu. So it's good because you can come to the gym and make a mistake here. Oh my God, that's how I react when I struggle here, under pressure and stuff. So now you can get better without losing something real in life. It's like you're playing life in 2-hour frame during the day. I love that kind of thing. I like to think about that.
And I have another question, like the armbar one. Would you prefer winning the open class one time or your division 3 years in a row? You win open class one time and don't win anymore, or you win your division 3 years in a row and you were 3 times world champion in your division?
That's hard to say because...
Just pick one, you have to pick one.
Yeah, but let me...
Yeah, think and then you pick one.
First, if I win an open class, I'll never... Of course, we're talking about if we know everything in the future and whatever. But, I don't know, man. I think it would be an open class, 100%.
Open class one time?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Open class. But it's hard because if you win one, you know you can win again.
You have to cut weight or no?
Oh, 20 pounds.
But you always have to cut weight or no?
If I want to do super, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's hard or no?
What is hard?
I know hard, for me it was hard. I was always 152 and I had to cut 138. So that was really hard. If you're 152 and have to cut like
20.
Yeah, 10 pounds.
Yeah, so no, it's not hard. Because I cut the same amount of weight.
Yeah, but it's way more water and so. But if you had to eat the same food for the rest of your life, which food would you eat? You have like put something in your plate, and this is the only thing you're gonna eat for the rest of your life.
It depends, because if you eat bad, you're gonna die earlier. Is that the question? Like if I can live forever, if it doesn't matter.
Forget about the diet. Forget about the diet.
I think I'll do rice and beans. Straight Brazilian. Yeah, rice and beans, like chicken. That's fine.
How about you, Gui?
I'll eat rice and beans with some.
Because pizza is too much. I love pizza, but I love pizza sometimes.
No, every meal. Yeah, I think I could eat rice and beans every day.
Yeah.
I can eat pasta every day.
Pasta, I love pasta.
Pasta would be good, but every day I think rice and beans would be better to have every day.
It's neutral, right?
Yeah.
Okay, rice and beans. You can do rice in the morning, beans and like a dinner, Yeah, you can have only the chicken sometimes.
I have another question, the short one, like to. A lot of people like the belt really short, and a lot of people like the belt long. If you have to pick between one, the belt really long or really short? When you tie your belt.
Yeah, short.
Short
is better. I think long looks funny, right? I think long belt looks funny. Like
long by the knees?
Yeah, it looks funny. It looks like weird, right? Think short here, no, right?
And how people used to tie in Brazil, remember? Like really low? No, like the ones that are really low in São Paulo.
Oh,
like
here,
on the butt. Like,
I hate that. That's terrible.
I did a video for AJ and I was talking about the headphones, and that's a question that people, it's crazy, like, because I was talking to Mason and people always ask me in the seminars, because like I love doing question and answer. I think it's the fun part of the seminar, and people always like talking and like, and I see a lot of people using the headphones, and I always thought it was super cool. I always thought like, man, I want to have the beats too, like look cool, different colors and stuff. You are warming up, it matches with your gi and stuff, or with your belt. But every time, I remember many times like putting it on, and then I was like, man, I hate it. Like, I'm wearing just to look cool, but like I hate it. And I see that some people they really enjoy it, because like the music that they're listening like brings them like the vibe that they want and stuff. For me, it was always bad, because I'm
take it off.
Yeah, I'm the kind of person that likes to sit there and watch. So like I like to watch my division. I like to hear the environment, like people screaming, like the microphone and stuff. And it takes a long time for me to adapt to the environment. So I like to get there really early, see people winning, see people losing, how they react. Like my heartbeat start getting like normal, because every time I get there, it's always the adrenaline and stuff. So for me, if I spend a couple hours there and I can hear the environment, like I get like really calm.
On the zone.
Yeah, but like for some people, they prefer to be there like 30 minutes before they fight, and they like to have the headphones on. It's almost like you're not there until you step on the mat, So like, where you feel you're at, like you're the guy that likes to get there early, you're the guy that likes to be there right on time, you like the headphones or no?
So finding the zone, right? I think it varies too, because I remember brown belt, I had my headphones on and I took it out. I was like, no, that's not, I'm good with myself now. I'm good hearing myself and feeling myself and listening to every single thing, being present.
That's how I feel. I need to be present at that moment. I need to hear what's happening, because like when I put the headphones, it's like I'm hiding. It's like I'm in a different place, and then like as soon as I take it off, it's like if I open the door and I'm there, you know. That's what I hated.
Which is cool too sometimes. Which is cool. Like I like the headphones a lot of times, but a lot of times I'm gonna have my headphones on so just people don't talk at me. You know, so sometimes it's just a way for people to, hey, get out, you stay away from me. I'm not here to try to talk. I'm not here trying to make friends. You know, I'm just here to do my thing and leave. You know, so it depends. Sometimes I'm gonna be on my zone listening to some music, but sometimes my favorite music is not gonna sound as good, you know, because I'm on my zone, or I don't know, it varies. It's not always the same.
And one thing that I tell people to in the seminars, like, is like I think the tournament is the worst place to learn about someone's personality, right? Because like normally, like you said, like you're a friendly guy, you're friends with everybody, nice, but like you don't want to talk to people, you don't want, because you're gonna fight, so like you're nervous, like you have that adrenaline, you have that pressure on you, people are watching you, so like it's not the right place to go there, approach you and say like, let's talk, or you ask questions, you know. So like I was telling you before we started filming, like I think like a lot of people have the wrong image, not just about me or like my brother or like a lot of, but a lot of the athletes, like because they they only know that character that they see in the competition, and a lot of times that character is just a character, you know, like is the mask that you put on to go there and battle, you know, and like it's not who you really are, you know. And like I read a lot too. I was reading the Giselle's book, and she was saying, and I feel like I fit so much with that, because she was saying I was never a model. She was saying like I work it as a model. I use modeling to make a living, to provide for my family, and to gain the exposure that I have today to talk about the things that really matter to me. So today she works with different stuff, like she's involved with the like nature stuff, and like but she talks about it in the book. She talks about like how she was being a model, but she was not a model. She was like just that character, was just that person that was doing that because that was necessary to get the exposure that she needed. And I think for me it was the same thing. Now, like when I stopped to think, I was like, like I was never like the fighter or like the competitor. Like I learned how to do that because it was part of like being successful. For me, it was like was part of like opening doors in life. But like now I have so much more joy with the stuff that I do and with the life that I have, that I would not get back, you know. Like maybe I started too early, maybe I had so much pressure on me that like and I didn't know how to deal. But that when I was reading the book and that I was thinking about it, I was like, man, like, that's exactly like how I felt, and like nobody ever described it so well. And I think my brother is the same when I see, because like he doesn't like to go to the competitions, like he doesn't like, it's like we start so young, was the pressure, like we did everything so early. Like I got to the black belt, I was 20 and he was 19. I won the first year in the black belt. And then like we stopped, we were like 27 years old. So everything happened like so fast for us, you know, and I think it was just too much pressure and too much expectations and stuff. And as soon as you see the opportunity to get out of this bubble, like you want it, you understand? For me, I think it was always like this, was always like you are a fighter, you are a competitor and stuff, but it is not the real me, you understand? It was always a character that was there.
It's kind of tricky to talk about, to tell people who don't understand, you know, but yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah, people end up thinking like, oh, he's very cocky, or he's very like arrogant, like I don't know, people always have the wrong image because they always have the expectation that you need to be Mr. Nice all the time, you understand? Yeah. And like we all have like this pressure when we were competitors, especially like being at the black belt with like a lot of photographers there and like filming the fights, and then like it's a nightmare for every athlete to imagine like like the social media posting them losing and everybody watching. It's like it's what I tell my students now. Like the social media works in two ways. It's good and bad. It's good because it gives you a lot of power to promote yourself, to have your own business, like even if you're very young, and then to promote your business. But it's a nightmare for people that are competing because like it gives people it empowers the stupid people, you know, like people like they don't know anything about you, they don't know anything about your life, and they go there, they give their opinion, and people can like it, and like it becomes like it's just it's frustrating a lot, especially. But I tell these students all the time, I was like, if this is the life that you chose, you're not average. Like you chose a life where you're exposing yourself a lot, so you need to learn how to deal with that. You understand?
100%, yeah.
And I have a question for you. You answer or you don't answer the haters? Like a guy goes there and then comments a lot of things like bad about you on your own page. You don't. You never answer.
I don't, because these people don't deserve my attention. You know, it's like I'm being ungrateful for everybody who's giving me love. Of course, a bad comment is gonna weigh 1,000 pounds on your shoulders. But at the same time, if you know yourself, if you know what you're doing, if you understand all the sacrifices and struggle you're going through, you shouldn't care about. Of course, we humans, that's gonna touch us. But one, we can learn a lot about that because sometimes that can be true. Sometimes they might be saying stuff that is true about yourself, and if it's true, you have to deal with that and get better. But if it's not true, you relax too, because that's not true. That's just what they think. You know, sometimes people give you hate because that's all they have. They don't have no love to share. You know, if you give him love to everybody because that's what you got. You know, so I don't answer them because first they don't deserve that. They don't deserve my attention. But at the same time, I learn from that a lot. If I can see and feel that they saying the truth. You know, so I'm open to learn and see what do I have to, you know, get better. Sometimes they talking stuff that is not true, but sometimes it might be true, you know, like, oh my god, your takedown suck. Okay, let me think. Oh man, do I know takedown? Am I a judo black belt or a college wrestler? Or no, I'm not. So I am sucking takedowns, you know. So if you're saying that, fine, that's true, I agree with you. But I'm not gonna say that, but you can, you know. So yeah, I don't. Do you?
I do sometimes. Like that's the part of me that like I don't know. I don't control really well. It's like if it's about me, I don't really care. A lot of times like I leave it there if it's not very heavy, or like I delete if I feel it bothers me. If I read all the time, it bothers me. Or if more people are gonna read that and it's gonna bother me or it's gonna bother somebody, like I'll delete.
As if it's gonna create the buzz.
Yeah, if I feel like it's something bad that also affects my family or something like this, then I'll delete. But when I think it touches me more when it's about somebody else that I care. If it's about a student that I see that works hard every day, or it's about like people are so evil. People comment bad things about my kids, for example. Like then like sometimes I answer, sometimes I just delete. So I don't answer them in the same level. You know, it's like I can't like do that because like
how can they even think about that?
Yeah, but people do. You know, like people are. That's the bad thing about the internet. You know, like gives this power to anybody. You know, like. Because for me, like if I don't like somebody, I'm not gonna go there and comment.
I don't even follow this people.
I don't follow the person, I don't comment, and like it doesn't matter for me. You understand? If I don't like, and like even if like it's like a page, the media page that it's posting and stuff, like I'm not gonna comment something because I have been there. You understand? So I know how much it hurts to have someone commenting something bad about you, especially if something that you care so much and you dedicate your whole life to it. So like I would never go there and comment like, your takedowns are horrible, or like this guy is better than you on your page, or if somebody posts about you. But people do, you understand? Because people don't care. I think they want attention, and this is not the right way to get attention. Like if you want attention, you do your job and you build your career, or you build something so you can get attention. Like this is the wrong way of getting attention. Like the way things are this is online bullying, you know, like you can't like people, we promote so much anti-bullying and like teaching the kids how to defend themselves, and how can I teach a kid how to defend themselves if I have trouble defending myself on the internet? You understand? Like people do online bullying all the time, you know, and it's different. Like when you go there, you win, and then you post you beating the guy and stuff, and then like even if it's like a bad photo for your opponent, it's a moment that it's yours, you know, you won. If the guy beats you next time he posts, it's his turn. I understand that. So if like a guy that beat me or beat my student posts a photo, it doesn't get me like upset or angry, because I know it's their moment. They worked for it. But like having somebody that didn't work hard or didn't do anything, going there and just like throwing words like to hurt you or hurt somebody that you care, it's hard.
Yeah, I think there are two different things. First, we are athletes. We're not average people. We're not fans. You know, there are fans and athletes. I don't think athletes should be doing that publicly. You know, if you think something about somebody, and if you want to tell your friends, your students, or you can talk about that, it's your opinion. You have the right to have an opinion. But if you go somewhere and talk about somebody just because you don't like them, I think there's a little deeper than that. But if you're a fan, you can do whatever. Yeah. You know, that's how the sport's gonna grow, by opinions, and make even bad stuff make you more popular. Yeah. You know, you see a lot of people who do bad stuff and they're very popular because of that. People wanna watch them lose or whatever, so they're gonna be watching. This is gonna attract attention for them. So yeah, I think bad comments are normal for if Jiu-Jitsu grows. Gonna have more fans, people who are sitting on the couch, you know, they're not doing anything, but they talk about what you did wrong, you know. So yeah, it's a common thing. I think we as an athlete, we have to understand that's gonna happen, and also try to not read that kind of stuff. Like I honestly, Flow Grappling posts about my stuff, I'm not gonna say 100%, but I usually don't even read the comments. If I go there, hey, thanks for talking about me, blah, 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 and leave. I don't want to know what they're thinking, because I know my day, I know my routine, I know my habits, so I don't even bother. Like, yeah, and I know I'm sensitive to, if I read and something is bad, I'm not, oh my God, you know, so there's no benefit of reading. Because if people love me, of course I care, I like that, I appreciate the love, but at the same time, it's not gonna touch you as hard as a bad comment. Yeah. And always somebody there is always gonna have something bad to say, and then what did I read? You know?
Yeah, it's very hard. It's like knowing yourself and then trying to control yourself.
Yeah,
it's hard. And last one, how would you describe your style of Jiu-Jitsu? Like if you had to describe, for example, like I'll describe mine. So I think I am persistent, because like the way I fight, like I always try to hit the moves that I believe, and I try to make them work one way or another. So like I keep combining moves, but to get the moves that I want. So like when I think about my style of Jiu-Jitsu, I think about I'm very persistent. Okay, so if I'm on top, like I'm trying to hit the same move all the time and making connections to get that move. And my brother, I would not describe as persistent, because I feel like he is the person that adapts to the move like all the time. Like he's moving and then he sees different variations and he will go with the flow. You know, completely different than me. We train like always in the same place, always in the same environment, but we have, every person is different. Every person will be different, and I think that that's how I would describe myself, as like persistent. And I would never describe my brother as persistent, because like there is nothing persistent in his game. It's always, I think he's he fights with the flow, and then like people call him in Brazil, it's like a wizard, you know, like he's like always, like he always has something. It's like always pull out the card, you know, and then it's always something good. So it's different. Like how, when you think about your jiu-jitsu, and of course you're not yet at your best, like you won, but like for sure you're gonna keep improving and winning. And how would you describe yourself at this moment now?
That's exactly what I would say. I would say that I'm always improving, looking for new ways to be more efficient, you know. I see you guys doing what I want to, like what everybody wants to do in Jiu-Jitsu. Like if you want to do Jiu-Jitsu, you want to be like Mendes brothers or all the greats. I'm trying to find, that's not the question. What I'm trying, what would I describe? Is somebody who is keeping adjusting himself, you know. I would say the Brazilian, because Brazilians, I tell some people that like Brazilians, man, we have to adjust ourselves to stuff. Because in America, you get to the school is already good enough for you. You go to school, you do what you're supposed to be doing, you're fine. But in Brazil, if you're doing school, you have to do something else and adjust yourself a little bit. Because nothing, okay, it's hard because Brazilians are gonna hate me, but stuff are not perfect in there.
Yeah.
You know, the life is not perfect, so you have to adjust yourself all the time. Like driving, there's gonna be a construction here, so you gotta go around and stuff.
Yeah, and it's important for people to understand that. I think like there is no like it's different. I tell people all the time, it's like different cultures, different backgrounds. Like you come from the third world like place, you know, like there is a lot of struggles that people here don't have to face, and is the reality. Even if you're like if you come from like a rich family in Brazil, the life that you grow up like is different. It's different because like the reality around you is different. Like you are scared of getting robbed, you're scared of like people like kidnapping like somebody from your family. There is a lot of stuff that scares. That's why so many Brazilians come to live
100%.
in a better place, you know.
100%.
And I feel like I don't like to hide it. Like I don't think it should be like hidden, you know. I think like we're always fighting to get to do better, 100%. You know. And I think this is a quality, like you say, like you're proud of being Brazilian and trying to adapt like in a different environment and stuff. And I think this is a quality, the same way that I see like Americans have their qualities, and then Japanese people have their qualities. Like people always ask me like, when you go from all the places that you go, where is the place that you love the most? And like I love Japan. I love the respect that people have,
and discipline.
You know, the discipline that they have, how much they care. Like you like
tradition.
Yeah, it's like it's even hard to describe, because like I go there and like it's not like fighting in Brazil, it's not like fighting here, it's not like fighting in Europe. It's a different environment, it's a different culture, it's a different people, you know. The way they treat you is different. They make you feel like a star, you know. And I wish it was like that everywhere we go, you understand, because we work so hard for it, you know. And a lot of times like we give so much value to actors or singers and stuff, but we have people that work hard right next to us, and then we treat them like normal people, you know. And it's different. I think like that's why I like to describe every person, every culture is different, you know. And I like to describe the Japanese people as very respectful, you know, and that's why I love is the place. Like from everywhere I fought before, I went like to many different places to fight. Japan was the place that I was like, man, like if I had to fight one more time in my life, I would fight in Japan.
Me too, I love it.
You know, like it's like
they
Japan.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, Japan. The appreciation that they have, it's like it's something totally different, you know. It's like it's not, they don't treat it as a sport, you know, like you won, you lost, like you're good, you suck. Like if you go there and you lose, they still treat you like a champion, you know, because they know, like they respect you, and it's different. I think that's what it's special, you know, like understanding cultures too. Like a lot of people talk about I'm sure you get this too, because like we teach in English, of course. We are in United States. I live here for 7 years now. And the videos are from my classes. Like you're here and I was teaching in English, you just did the class. And then you post a video on internet, something that is good for the sport. And then you get the people saying like, you don't appreciate your roots, you know, like, but they don't understand the amount of work that's involved to post one video. It's not something that you're doing on your phone and posting right away. It's like, it's a work, like somebody's there filming the techniques and then the person needs to go edit the video, make sure everything is perfect, and then they upload it. You know, like, it's not like, even like for somebody to go there and translate it, like, it's like triple of the work, you know? So.
And it's not your goal.
And yeah, and like, and the goal, it's a business now. And a lot of people will not understand that because they're just thinking about themselves, you know, like, but like, for example, like for me, I never studied English. I never did. I never went to a school only for English. I studied in public school in Brazil, and the English classes, like, you probably know how it is, you know, and I knew how to say, you know, dog, cat, I love you.
The book is on the table.
And the book is on the table.
The book is on the table.
That's it. And I remember like watching videos. I remember watching videos of Demian Maia because he was already like speaking English and like trying to pick the words that he was saying and stuff. And when I got here, I was teaching classes and my English was not good. You know, like I had to learn it. I had to like you said, adapt myself. Like it's a different. It's everything is different. You know, and I think that people need to look with a different eyes. They need to see that and say, look, I'm gonna try not only learn Jiu Jitsu techniques, but I'm gonna try to learn English too for the ones that don't speak English. You know, because this is the mindset that I had when I was there in Brazil. I wanted to learn, and because I was not going to school, was the best way for me to learn it. You know, and how do you learn English?
Same way.
Same way. Yeah. Everything that you want to do, like
you have
really
the power.
Bad, like
you
have the power to do it. You know, like I know that it's hard. I remember many times like going to the movies.
Oh my god.
And I would sit there and stare at the screen, and I could not understand anything. I was like, man, like trying to pick words, and then I was like, man, I can't understand it. And then listening to music. And I'll be like, man, I have no idea. How can people understand, you know? And like, it's just like Jiu Jitsu, you know? It's just like Jiu Jitsu. Like in the beginning, you're a white belt, you're there sitting in the class, and then people are sparring, and you have no idea what's going on. And then eventually things are like, start making sense, you know? And then everything becomes more natural, and the more you understand, the easier it is to learn more, you know? And I think that's the mindset that people need to have. Like instead of being like so close-minded and so selfish, just like try to learn as much as you can with what you have, right?
Use your tools now. Yeah, like talking about culture first. It's hard to explain that for people who never experience anything else. Because here in America, you're eventually gonna have a Japanese here and there. You're gonna know a Mexican. You have the opportunity to meet a lot of other cultures, a lot of other nationalities. But a lot of people in Brazil, that's all they know. They never experience to, you know, they see gringos as gringos. You know, it's like going to the zoo.
Yeah.
When they see, you know, gringos, so it's hard to explain some stuff sometimes and don't address these things. Because people are not expecting to understand the difference and what you're trying to explain, because they never put themselves in that situation, you know. So yeah, culture is crazy. So that's why I like a lot to talk about that, because Americans sometimes, most of the times, they're curious about us. Like sometimes people think Brazil is a big jungle. You know, they don't believe they don't know it's a big city too. You have both. You know, so it's cool for, of course, Americans get to know us a little bit, our culture, and how and why we react this way. And also for Brazilians to understand, man, Americans, they do this because of that, because their culture. That's how they were raised. That's how they grow up, you know. So yeah, it's fun, man.
Even in training, the culture is very different. Like when I see, like, I feel like the Brazilians, like they're very loud. So that's why, like, I try to control that a lot, especially because I deal with like a lot of younger like athletes. Like they're very loud and like they make a noise and stuff. It's part of our culture, you know. Like we are loud, like we like, and I think like the Brazilians, like they tease much more when they're fighting. So like they like talk with each other, like, and like they take it like as like a normal thing, you know. Like I'm training with you, I was like you didn't pass, or you passed, like it was 2 points, I won by 2 points. And I feel like other cultures are not very used to that, so it can. I tell my guys all the time, I was like be careful, like so you don't make people have a wrong image of you, you understand? Because like for you and for your culture, it can sound normal and can sound like fun and funny, but like for other people it can be very hard to understand because it's not the type of stuff that they learn it, you know, when they were younger. So like I think for me a big challenge in the class is to control that, because especially because the Brazilians that I have are so young that, you know, like I want them to have like when they are in the class, like they understand what's happening like around, you know, not just in their with their friends, you know, like but around, like, and care about how people see them, because like being an athlete is a lot about like building your image too. Like I was talking to you before, I was like you do a great job on like having like a good image, like being like professional with the stuff that you do, being very friendly and stuff. And I think like that's the image that people need to build, you know. It's like the more people you get to know your personality and to like you, the better it will be for you. It will be easier for your sponsors, it will be easier for opportunities, it will be easier to any work that you can do in the future. This part we were talking about culture, like is a challenge for me too, because like the Brazilians are very different like than other people. We are more messy too, you know. We are loud, we are like you know, like, and like it can be a good quality too when you're in Jiu-Jitsu, because like you are more like we say ousado, right? Like you care less about the outcome, you know. You try, you know, and I feel you just need to control that really well. When you have this quality and you're professional, it can work very good. But when you have this and you're not professional, you're just sloppy. You know, you're somebody that is not gonna get anywhere because like you have no control, you know. And that's what I try to control with my students. I try to teach them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's the thing about culture. The good thing about us is that we get to know our different cultures and pick what is good and what is bad and what is relevant now and not. You know, sometimes you're here in the class, you see you, but you can hold yourself a little bit because you're in an environment where you should not do what you always do, you know. And sometimes if you go somewhere, you can, you know. So I think it's good for you to travel. That's why I love traveling, because when you travel, you understand, you see, and you learn how to put yourself in the best situation possible to don't look bad in front of people.
And one thing that I tell people, like every academy is different, has different rules and stuff, and people always ask me like how you guys like have like that rules and how you keep everything like everybody like following the rules. You have so many people in the academy, and is the thing about like building an environment, you know, because like for example, you train today, of course you're an experienced person, you travel, you go to different academies, but like you walk in the academy, you see what other people are doing first and then you do it, you know. Like so you have that experience of like feeling the place first and looking around, see what's going on, like who is there and what people are doing, and then slowly you start getting more comfortable but there's always a limit because you know you're not in your spot. You know, like, and I try to teach that to my students too, especially the ones that teach that travel a lot. Because like, for example, like I'm gonna teach seminar, like even knowing that I'm the main star in the seminar, I'm always very respectful towards the professor there. And the students. I always wait to go on the mat until the professor gives approval and everything. Because I know that's not my place. And I know that people are gonna look at me and they are gonna expect that respect, you know? So like, I think it's important for us to understand that, because then if you teach that to your students and you make people know that, like you're gonna have better, like the next generation will always be better, like you're gonna have better visitors in your academy, you're gonna have better people like coming, and I think that's what's good.
Yeah, they're gonna follow the leader, right?
Yeah.
That's important, 100%.